What's going on, Laker fans? All right, Lakers lose 108 to 106. I was trying to see if I could wait for Coach to talk. I wanted to hear him and get his thoughts on the game first, see if he had some comments on the LeBron 3 that was called a 2. The replays, some replays look like, hey, that looks like a 3. Other replays look like, okay, maybe his toe's on the line. Nonetheless, that call does not go the Lakers' way. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We got a lot to get into. The Lakers get screwed, and are we going to look at this game basically saying that it came down to that one play? Are there some positives that we could take out of this game on the road against Minnesota, who's only lost one road game all year long? Has only lost one home game all year long. Terrible contributions from the Lakers bench and the role players. Basically, this entire game was just LeBron James and Anthony Davis. D'Lo leaves the game with a bruised tailbone. Lakers got another game coming up against New Orleans. So we got a lot to get into in this edition of the Postgame show. If you have some thoughts, comments, you could feel free to put it in here, and I'll do my best to try to get to it. Hope you guys had a nice Christmas. Hopefully you guys got some good plans for the New Year's and everything else. But, man, look, I'm watching the replay right now. I can't tell. Part of that looks like every time they're showing the replay, part of it looks like his foot was just beyond the blue line. And then there's other angles where you zoom in and it's like, oh, maybe it is. I cannot tell. I thought personally when it happened in live, I thought it was a 3. The way LeBron, Anthony Davis, Darvin Ham, everybody else reacted, I thought it was a 3. And the Lakers don't get the benefit of the call, and they lose the game 108-106. Now, if we want to talk about whether we think that one play is the difference of the game, this is the only reason why the Lakers lost. We can certainly make that case. Really, really weird ending to this game. Minnesota was up 7 with, 35 seconds left, something along those lines after Mike Conley hit a 3. And then just some idiotic plays from the Timberwolves gave the Lakers a chance. You had the 4-point play, the and 1, and the technical foul, so you scored 4. So the Lakers didn't have to foul on the other end. Then down 3 is when Bron comes down and obviously takes that shot. Anthony Edwards would eventually hit a free throw, and that final play was an awful play. Let me just listen here. I want to see if I could hear. Let me hear if I could hear what Darvin Ham says. Darvin Ham said he thought it was a clear-cut 3, but he said that's from his angle. He said that everyone on his sidelines replayed it, thought it was a 3. He said there's people in other places also looking at it that he's talking about. I think Secaucus is where they do the replays from or whatever the case is. So basically Darvin Ham said that he thought everybody on their bench and their sidelines, you guys know they got the iPads there so they could replay all this stuff right out on the spot. It sounds like everybody from the Lakers' perspective thought it was a 3, assumed it was a 3, and then when it got replayed, thought it was going to get overturned and be a 3. It's funny because Billy Mack and Stu on the broadcast were not talking like that. They were talking about how it looked like it sounded like that the referees were just going to give this thing a 2, but the Lakers clearly thought it was a 3-pointer. And that's the game. I mean, look, there's a lot of other details that we're going to get into, but nobody's going to really talk about anything more than how this game ended against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Nobody's going to really talk about anything more than, like I mentioned, specifically that one possession probably dictates whether this game's going to OT or not, if the Lakers had a chance to win that game. And like I mentioned, Darvin Ham, Lakers 17-16 on the season, was just saying that he thought, all his coaches thought, everybody just assumed they were going to replay that and give the Lakers a 3. I don't mind the call on the court because I think that's actually smart from a referee perspective, saying, okay, if we're going to review this anyway, so let me just stop the play and let's go review it before we go any further. That part's fine, but then you just got to make a determination whether you think that's a 3 or not. I lean towards that was a 3. Of all the replays that we saw, I lean towards was 3. It's as close as you can get. You really can't get any closer. And Darvin Ham just mentioned here, I saw something while this was all going down. I saw something where they were talking about, it looked like one of the refs was talking to LeBron and Anthony Davis, and it almost was as if, hey, I can't make the final determination. It almost seemed like it was just coming from somewhere else. And like I said, that one goes away from the Lakers. It's a very anticlimactic ending to this game. Bron in that final shot doesn't even get the shot off. I don't really know what he was trying to do. I thought he was just going to fade away and try to tie that game up, or try to tie the game up. I didn't mind them going to Bron because kind of felt like he's the one that got screwed. So he was going to take that final shot. I just didn't like his angle. He only 1.5 seconds left, and he thought he can take an extra dribble, come in, kind of fake like he was going to fade, and Rudy Gobert came over as well. So not exactly the ending I think anyone was hoping for from a Laker perspective. Okay. What I have not talked about yet, and I think I'm going to get into here, and I know we got a lot of comments right now, people giving their thoughts, their opinions. Feel free to give your thoughts and your opinion. Unfortunately for the Lakers, they didn't have much help. LeBron and Anthony Davis didn't have much help. I do this thing in the pregame show called the X Factor. So just kind of some bullet points of what I think the Lakers need to do in order to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And listen, Lakers hung with them the whole time. That's twice the Lakers have played the Minnesota Timberwolves. One without LeBron James, they hung with them. Another one with LeBron James, and it's obviously a 2-point game. I know there's no moral victories. The Lakers certainly had chances to win this game, but I'm just trying to be honest with you here. If that's the best team in the Western Conference, okay, Lakers they're in the ballpark. It's not like if the Lakers played the Minnesota Timberwolves in a 7-game set tomorrow, all right, that's probably a coin flip. It's not, hey, well, Minnesota's going to dominate the Lakers. Nothing like that. But for me, I think the thing that stood out to me, and I mentioned this pregame, was you had in your last game against the Charlotte Hornets, which nobody's trying to pull anything away from a Charlotte Hornets game. We all know that the Charlotte Hornets are the Charlotte Hornets, and that's that. I'm not trying to make it sound like they're anything other than the Charlotte Hornets. But what I am trying to tell you was 7 guys scored in double figures against Charlotte. 7 players. Tonight, where was Austin Reeves? Awful. Where was Rui? Awful. Unfortunately, D'Lo goes out with an injury, but before he went out, he was just 1 of 4 from the field in 20 minutes of play and only had 5 points. Christian Wood, 7 points, 5 rebounds, hit a couple of threes. Actually, I'm going to leave Christian Wood out of the category here. Taurean Prince was 3 of 9. Cam Reddish was 2 of 7. Vando was 3 of 7. I think, there's certain players that you understand they're not offensive threats. The players that needed to deliver, and these were the 3 players that I was talking about before the game started, you got to have, if your bench now consists of Rui Hachimura, D'Angelo Russell, and Austin Reeves, there is no excuse for another team out there to outscore your bench. You got 3 players that could be legitimate starters in the NBA at some point, have started. All got paid in the offseason. These 3 guys combined for, Rui had 5, D'Angelo Russell had 5, and Austin Reeves had 9. Naz Reid by himself had 21. So those 3 players for the Lakers contributed with 19 points, and Naz Reid on his own had 21. By the way, when did Naz Reid become Karl Malone, Charles Barkley, and Tim Duncan? I mean, that dude was balling on the Lakers, and he's a good player. That's one of the better backup centers in the entire NBA, and he's always, I feel like every time the Lakers play the Minnesota Timberwolves, Naz Reid is doing work. But that, to me, is one of the things that stood out more than anything else tonight was the contributions from your other players. I don't know where the hell they were. Austin Reeves didn't look comfortable the entire night. There's plenty of times I forgot Rui was even playing. And like I said, I know D'Lo left the game, and hopefully he's all good. But certainly those 3 players were not able to make it happen. LeBron and Anthony Davis, AD still. I think AD at the half. Look at AD's stat line, man. This dude is just so ridiculous. AD's full stat line was 33 points, 17 rebounds, 8 assists, 4 steals and 2 block shots. Something was bothering him, too. It looked like he wasn't comfortable there in that second half. First half alone, he was 21, 10, 5. I think 2 or 3 steals. I think 3 steals. So he's continuing, played almost 40 minutes. He's continuing to do everything for the Lakers. And the man is delivering. And then LeBron on his 39th birthday plays 39 minutes, 26 points, 6 assists, 3 steals, 3 rebounds, 10 to 21 from the field. Look, I think everyone would understand this. Lakers did not lose this game because LeBron James or Anthony Davis didn't deliver. Lakers unfortunately lost this game on a controversial call, and they also lost this game. I think it impacted the game more. LeBron's, was that a 3 or a 2, I think was less impactful than the role players, the bench players, the other guys, because the other guys certainly did not show up. All right, let me take a look here at some of your guys' comments. Like I said, I tried listening to Darvin Ham when he was talking, and Darvin Ham just basically said that he thought, and everybody thought on that Lakers bench, the sideline, the coaches, everybody thought that, oh, yeah, that's a 3. That's going to get overturned. The quote, I'm going to read this from Darvin Ham. The view I had, I thought it was a clear-cut 3. We thought it was a good 3. Although I disagree, we have to live with it. So there's your answer with whether that was what the Lakers' perspective was on that 3-point shot. All right, let's read some of these. Let's read some of these comments here. Turn the game off after that 3. Irritated as you know what. Well, you should have kept the game on, or maybe actually you were better off of not having the game on because it got a lot closer. I thought the game was over 107-100. I think that's when Conley hit the 3, and you're like, okay, there's 40 seconds. I can't remember how much time was left, but there wasn't that much time left. But yeah, that ended up unfortunately leaving or finishing against the Lakers. That was a 3. Damn. Okay, that's Francis. Appreciate you being part of the show. Lakers got screwed. Why not give the people overtime to such a? Let's hear what LeBron's saying. Let me hear this real quick. Tell you what LeBron says. LeBron says, obviously it's a 3. My foot was behind the line. Clearly can see the separation. Saying space between his foot and the 3-point line. See if there's one more. That no one had explanation. Set out of their hands. Secaucus replay is the ones that will make the final call on that. I will tell you that's a good way for the referees to put their hands up and say, hey, this is not up to us. Braun saying it was clearly a 3 as well. That's a good cop out, right? Just kind of put your hand, guys. There's nothing we could do. Secaucus takes it over from here, and they make the call. Yeah, I think that's an interesting way of doing it. Unfortunately for the Lakers, that doesn't go their way. For reals, if AD made those 2 free throws he missed, we would be in overtime right now. I got to be honest with you. Listen, I get it with the free throws. I get it. Late free throws, they're magnified. What was that? They were getting a chicken sandwich. I'm assuming something from Chick-fil-A. I don't know. I wasn't listening to the whole promotion. The Timberwolves fans gone crazy. He went 8 of 10 from the free throw line, shot 80% from the free throw line. So if he would have hit those 2 free throws, maybe it's a different story. If Austin Reeves, D'Angelo Russell, and Rui Hachimura would have showed up to work today, maybe it's a different story as well. So we can all put it on Anthony Davis, but if we put it on AD, just make sure that you write in those comments that AD dropped 33, 17, 8, 4, and 2 in 39 minutes of play. I don't disagree with those 2 free throws being missed, but on the full scale of things, he shot 80% from the free throw line, 70% from the field, had 6 steals and blocks combined, 17 rebounds, and 33 points. So there's a lot that goes into losing a game, and I don't think that loss was on Anthony Davis because he missed those 2 free throws. He did miss 2 free throws, but there's more context to it. And I think there was still 5-6 minutes left when he missed those free throws. Sliwa, what the hell was the technical flop and foul? Gotta be honest with you guys. I'm a big fan of that new rule. Now, players flop all day long in the NBA. So if they're picking that moment to say, hey, that's a technical foul for flopping, then we'd be shooting 100 free throws a game on both sides because both sides are flopping. Now, I want them to figure out how to prevent flopping, how to stop flopping, how to slow down flopping, how to make players just, all right, enough of the flopping. Let's just play basketball. But I'm not opposed to them trying to clean up that side of the ball. That's what it was for Vando. All right, let's get some more of these messages here. Rui's minutes all over again. How many you play tonight? 17 minutes. I don't disagree with that. The Rui Hachimura of his minutes all over the place, but listen, if he was more effective, he would have stayed in. And Christian Wood got, he's been getting a little bit more PT, hit a couple of big threes that I thought kept the Lakers in the game. But I'm with you on the minutes being all over the place. I'm not a fan of that. Every time I see that, that's a little bit annoying. That's a little bit of, okay, well, how's this guy going to get into a rhythm? But he's got to also come through when he has some of those minutes, and then they won't take him out. Secaucus, New Jersey. Everybody's talking about Secaucus. That might be my favorite location, Secaucus. All right, let me read a couple more of these comments and then a couple other stuff I want to get into. Francis, thank you for the super, Francis. I appreciate it. Just a quick reminder, if you do throw a super, 100% going to read it. Happy holidays. AD missed free throw is so last season. Let me get another one in here. Max Anderson, Max Christie getting DNP makes no sense. It's actually a good point. That's a good observation. Let me go back to Francis here real quick. The missed free throw, Anthony Davis, I've got very, very little to go at with Anthony Davis. I really do. This entire season, I find it very, very difficult to assess something that Anthony Davis is doing and talk about how I'm not liking it or he's not doing enough or he's got to be could he have hit those 2 free throws? Absolutely, he could have. He didn't, but I'm going to continue to go back to it. They don't lose that game because Anthony Davis missed 2 free throws. Max Christie getting DNP did not make any sense. I'm with you. I'm especially even if when did D'Lo go out? D'Lo went out maybe in the third quarter, something along those lines. Max Christie, I think, deserves PT, especially tonight. Think about this for a second tonight. Reeves was struggling. Cam Reddish really not doing much on the offensive end as well. Sometimes it's good to just get a little bit of a spark, something a little bit different, and see if Max Christie can give you some, additional energy or spark something that wasn't there. And he did not get that PT, so it's good observation. I think a lot of Laker fans would prefer seeing Max Christie get some more PT, but obviously didn't happen. They're showing the replay right now, and it's so right after the game ended, I listened in the Spectrum for a quick second, taking a little bit of notes. I'm like trying to kind of come up with the topics I want to come up with, and the vibe that they had on the post-game show was, yes, the Lakers did essentially, it seemed like they got screwed because it seemed like a 3. I don't know if this is just all of us because we're all Laker fans, or, is Minnesota, are they talking right now about, oh, they got away with 1? I don't know what they're saying. But the vibe on the Spectrum post-game show was, it seemed like the Lakers got screwed, that should have been a 3. However, on top of that, the vibe was very, look, Lakers had a chance to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves on the road. This was not one of those games where Lakers came out the gate and were down 10 or 15. No, actually the opposite. Lakers took a 10-point lead in that first quarter. Now, Minnesota eventually came back. By the time the first quarter was done, Lakers were only up 2. And from there, Minnesota had a lead pretty much the entire game. But it wasn't a crazy lead. It was 4. It was 2. It was 6. It was nothing crazy, right? So Lakers in it the entire time. And what Byron Scott and what James Worthy and Allie Clifton, Mike Bresnahan as well, we're talking about on Spectrum, was more of, look, if that's the class of the Western Conference, cool. That there's more optimism coming out of a game like this than negativity. And I see where they're coming from. Now, when you're 17 and 16 and you got a lot of work left just to kind of get yourself from a standings perspective, move yourself further and further along, I get that portion of it. But at the same time, I don't think this is one of those games. If you thought, the Lakers are going into Minnesota, they're going to get their asses kicked. Well, that didn't happen, right? If you thought the Lakers are going to Minnesota and they got no chance in that game, that definitely didn't happen. So I think that's something to pay attention to. And I know Laker fans don't want to hear it. I'm going to go back to something that I said earlier. It's not moral victories. Nobody's talking about moral victories. I'm not trying to sell you guys on a moral victory. What I'm basically saying is that's the West, and that's what we're looking for in the Western Conference. And I know there's a lot of other good teams, a lot of competitive teams. Just keep this in mind. Keep in mind that so far the Lakers had a really, really tough road game on the road a week ago, played the Oklahoma City Thunder and beat them and looked pretty good in the process. And then they played the best team in the Western Conference. We had a ball game. Lakers could have easily won that game. Again, there were some mistakes from Minnesota towards the end of the game that made no sense to me. It was 107-100. They allowed the Lakers to come all the way back. There's a controversial call on a three-pointer, but it's not like the Lakers were playing this game and they had no shot to win this game. So I think you could take some good things. If I want to say this about the Lakers bench, if I want to say nobody else contributed, and I'm talking about specifically Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura, D'Lo didn't contribute as well, but ended up leaving the game and only played 20 minutes. And really, there was no other offense other than LeBron and AD. And it was only a 2-point game on the road against Minnesota. Okay, well, what happens when the Lakers play a lot better? When Austin Reeves just has his regular 18 or 19-point game where Rui potentially has a good game. So what happens when all those things click together? Lakers still have Minnesota twice this year. It's going to be down the road. I believe it's March and April is when they play them again. So we'll see where both of these franchises are by the time that point comes, but we still got obviously a lot of time until that happens. Okay, let me see some of your guys' comments here. The last play with 1 second left was hella dumb too. Yeah, I don't really know what Bron was doing. I talked about that a little bit earlier. I thought he was just going to go and just get his throw up his fadeaway. I thought he was coming, kind of turning towards his right side. It's kind of where the ball was thrown. The momentum's going there. There's 1.4 seconds left. Anthony Edwards, he's not blocking that shot. He hesitated. Maybe if you have 2 seconds, you could pull that. Rudy Gobert smart enough to just say, okay, well, I'm just going to come over. I don't need to guard the guy I'm guarding. There's not enough time left on the clock. And Bron didn't even get a shot off. So that was a mistake on Bron's fault, on Bron's part. Bron definitely should have just been thinking to himself, I'm getting the ball and I'm shooting. And he didn't do that. All right, let's see what else we got here. Rui should be as aggressive as Naz Reid every game. Naz Reid's a baller. That dude's a baller. What was the contract he signed in the offseason? I want to look at this real quick because whatever it was a steal. 3 years, $42 million. By the way, I wish I could say that about myself. 3 years, $42 million. That's a steal. What the hell? $42 million. But Naz Reid, compared to other players in the NBA, 3 years, 42, that's highway robbery. I mean, that's an incredible deal for Naz Reid. Incredible deal for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And Naz Reid, getting paid $42 million, but so much better. So much better. Than what that contract is. Naz Reid is a big time player. Let me read a couple more of these. Ref's going to have more sleepless nights. We're getting robbed before the fiasco at the end. Appeal the game, Rob. There was another quote from LeBron. What's the point of having replay if even the replay gets it wrong? So clearly the Lakers they're all going at this game with the same they're all going at this game with the same mantra that they got screwed. So there's a lot of that happening right now. Let me see some more of these comments here. Can't believe we let Naz Reid cook us. Naz Reid's a good player. He's a good player. That's the playoff run unless she hasn't played more than 3 minutes together this year. All right, let's see what else we got here. I got a couple other things I want to get into. Got a quick update here on the standings as well, where the Lakers are. Vando missing a layup doesn't help. Vando's, man, that dude clearly wants nothing to do with the offense. Nothing. I mean, is completely uninterested in anything that's offensive oriented. Okay. Here's another quick thing, something to kind of keep in mind here, and I'm starting to do this a little bit more now because we are in the thick of the NBA season, getting closer to the halfway point. NBA standings right now. Yeah, look at this. They're showing a stat. The other guys: Cam Reddish 4 points, D'Angelo 5, Rui 5, Torian Prince 9, Austin Reeves 9, and everybody's shooting percentages. Reeves was 2 of 11, Torian was 3 of 9. Rui was 2 of 8. D'Lo 1 for 4, and Cam Reddish 2 of 7. No one shot anywhere close to 50% from those players. And a lot of these games, you're going to end up winning games because you got 4, 5, 6 guys that are contributing. Lakers had nobody else contribute and still almost walked away with a win. What did the Timberwolves guys have? I know Karl-Anthony Towns did nothing tonight, which is kind of a shock. Karl-Anthony Towns only had 9 points tonight. We took 7 shots. Gobert had 13 and 13. Okay, Gobert's not going to shoot that much. Anthony Edwards, freaking stud, 31 points, got to the free throw line 11 times. And then Naz Reid. Naz Reid was basically the difference of the game. Literally, Naz Reid was the difference of the game. Okay, so with the loss, Lakers fall back to 9th place in the Western Conference. They got the Pelicans coming up tomorrow. So New Orleans is 18 and 14. I'll get to New Orleans in just a second. Lakers right now, 2 games out of that 6th spot to stay out of a play-in tournament. But it's Dallas, Sacramento, Clippers, Denver, Oklahoma City, and Minnesota. Those are the 6 teams. Of course, still a lot of time. It's not like, anybody's got to panic or anything like that. But damn. I thought this year, no way the Lakers are going to be part of this potential play-in tournament, and they still are. Kind of considering everything right now, they're still in that position as we sit here. Is Vando still shaking off the rust? What's going on? Just the guy has literally wants nothing to do with offense. So that's his strength is the defensive side, but offensively, it's not a guy that's trying to make it happen offensively. So you got to kind of make up for that. He's never going to be a guy that wants the ball on offense. And frankly, if he's pulling up for a 3 or he's pulling up for a 15-foot jumper, the defense is always going to let him take that shot. No one's going to get in his way of taking that shot. They're always going to allow him to take on one of those shots. All right. Can we get some shout outs here? I mean, tomorrow's her birthday. Can we give her some shout outs? Can we tell the young lady happy birthday, please? I mean, New Year is right around the corner here. Lakers got a game against the Pelicans tomorrow. Happy birthday. By the way, she has been a part of this channel for a long, long time. So thank you very much. Hopefully you get some shout outs here. Wishing you a great, great happy birthday. And thank you for joining the postgame show here. Lakers got cheated tonight. Yeah, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of Lakers got cheated tonight. A lot of that. Okay, let me do this here. Underdog Fantasy, you guys know, is a proud partner of the Postgame, really just the entire channel of Hoops Talk here. I spent a lot of time, talking about them and some of the specials offers that they have. So you guys can chime in on this one too. You can get a $100 deposit match of up to $100 if you use my code HoopsLA. If you're a fan of daily fantasy sports, try Underdog Fantasy. It's fun. It's really, really easy to do. I always do the pick'ems right here. I'm always doing NBA because I love the NBA. I already looked at the some of the games coming on tomorrow. I like two. I like this game. It's Sacramento taking on Memphis, and I'm just going to go with the big boys. De'Aaron Fox, higher or lower than 30.5 points at Memphis. I'll go lower for De'Aaron Fox. Then we got Ja Morant. Higher or lower than 27.5 points, I'll go higher. It's literally that easy. You put in your bet, however much you want to bet. It pays out 3 times if I put in 2, and I put in 2. So I'm betting on 2 guys. So it will pay out. If I put $20 in, it will pay $60. I submit my picks. Ja Morant. I got Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox for my games tomorrow. You could do it for every game. You do it NBA, NFL, NHL, whatever it is that you like. Do the pick'ems. Use my code HoopsLA, and we'll match your deposit up to $100. And you get some free money to play with if you do play. You put $100 in, they'll throw $100 on top of that. You got an extra $100 in your account. Those are my picks for tomorrow. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate the partnership with Underdog Fantasy. Okay, Anthony Davis is talking right now. I'm waiting on some of the AD stuff. I think they're all going to say the same thing. Yeah, I think every Laker fan, I get it. You're a Laker fan, and you're going to say the Lakers got screwed. 100%, that's what's going to happen. I think there's a lot of times that we could look at this game and we could say, all right, well, the Lakers, they put themselves in a tough position. Not enough guys contributed. There was 7 players, last game, Lakers, 7 players in double figures, just 2 players in double figures tonight. So I think it was more than just that one shot. But LeBron on his 39th birthday, having the and one, Austin Reeves hit the free throw on the technical foul, coming back and shooting that 3, kind of a step back 3, knowing that the Lakers are down 3. It seemed, honestly, picture perfect. Like something special was about to happen. Lakers are about to go to overtime, and they're going to find a way to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then it was really anticlimactic the way it ended with Bron's last shot. So very, very frustrating on that side. Okay. My brother. Joser. First off, thank you for the super, brother. Thank you. Flew from Guam, 12 hours to watch the Christmas game. I do remember, buddy. I saw you at section 111 and waved. You smiled back, even though we lost, seeing the Lakers and you live made the trip so worth it. You know what's funny? I actually remember this interaction, and I thought about it for a second. I'm like, I wonder if that's the guy that said he was going to come by. She just came up to me. She said, Al, while I'm in the middle of my radio broadcast, you should took the headphones off, and said, Al, I freaking flew 12 hours from Guam to watch the Lakers and the Celtics. Damn it. Get the hell off the radio for a quick second. Joser, I appreciate the super, and I appreciate you saying hello. Okay, we got some happy birthdays here. Not for me. Not for me. So don't say happy birthday to me. Say it to her. Got some more happy birthdays here. All right, there we go. We got some shout-outs there. Okay, final thing I want to do here, Laker fans. Lakers got the Pelicans coming up tomorrow. So let's spend a quick second here. Let me see if there was any other quotes here. So far the quotes tonight after the Lakers lose the game, you got Darvin Ham saying, the view I had, I thought it was a clear-cut 3. We thought it was a good 3, although I disagree. We have to live with it. We have Bron saying, what's the point of having replay if even the replay gets it wrong? The referees, and those are a couple quotes I'm reading from Dave McMenamin's Twitter. What the Lakers were told is that they're not making the final decision on the floor. Secaucus in New Jersey is making it, so they are determining that is not a 3-pointer, it's a 2-pointer. I wonder if that referee would have called it a 3 on the spot if it would have held. I wonder if they just decided that's too close of a call, so let's just go with a call on the court. I wonder if that's what happened, and I don't have an answer to it. Maybe we're going to get a little bit more information on this as we, obviously eventually get a little bit further from the game, and we'll see if some quotes that come out. I mentioned New Orleans for a quick second. So Lakers got the Pelicans tomorrow on New Year's Eve. It's a 4:00 tip, by the way, so an early tip-off. Tomorrow, probably a recorded post-game, most likely, just because it's New Year's Eve. Let everybody do their thing. I'm going to be doing my own thing too. So probably most likely a recorded post-game show, but we'll see. We'll see what's going on. If I'm able to do it live, then I'll do it live. So they're 18-14. Last time the Lakers played them, remember, it was the in-season tournament. Lakers beat them 133-89. They whooped the Pelicans. I mean, just demolished the Pelicans. It was very surprising for me as well. I know that Trey Murphy III, is questionable for the Lakers game. So he's questionable for tomorrow's game. We kind of know this team, right? We have a good idea who they are. Brandon Ingram, Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum. That's their three-headed monster, if you want to call it. Really all kind of above-average players. A lot of potential with all those guys, but none of them would you call them superstars. They just got a lot of and I'm not trying to say this disrespectfully, but Zion certainly didn't live up to what we all thought he was going to be. CJ McCollum is a phenomenal third-best player on your team. He shouldn't be a 1 or a 2. Brandon Ingram, I'm not sure what BI is. BI 2 at best, but you prefer him to be the third-best player on your team. But they got talent. Nobody's trying to say that they don't. They got depth. Herb Jones, Jose Alvarado, Zion, BI, CJ McCollum. So they got guys. Jonas Valanciunas. So I'm sure the Pelicans still feel completely disrespected from that playoff, the in-season tournament game, the semifinal from Las Vegas where they lost by 40-plus points. So I do wonder how much that comes into play for this game coming up. Maybe it doesn't come into play at all, but it could literally be just one of those games where it means so much to them because they got blown out on national TV in front of everybody. It was kind of a complete laughingstock game. But I will tell you, since they lost that game to the Lakers, let's see how they've done since then, because they certainly have moved up in the standings. So they've been doing some things right. For the Pelicans, after they lost to the Lakers, they went on to beat Minnesota, Washington, Charlotte, and San Antonio, lost to Memphis by 2, beat Cleveland, lost to Houston and Memphis by a combined 3 points, and then beat Utah in their last game. So they're playing better basketball, even though, losing to, I guess, Houston and Memphis. Houston's playing better basketball, and Memphis is with Ja Morant now, so that's a little bit different. So I'd be curious to see how that game pans out against the Pelicans tomorrow. But the one thing that you're trying to do if you're the Lakers, you really are trying to avoid going 0-2 in this road trip. That's why tonight, if you could steal that one, you're putting yourself in a position where maybe, just maybe, the Lakers could go 2-0 on this road trip. But now you're kind of just surviving to make sure that you don't go 0-2. If they lose tomorrow, they're at 500. 34 games in, they'll be 17-17. They will end the new year, or they will end 2023 as a 500 basketball team. And I got to be honest, that's not something that I thought was going to happen. I really didn't. I really did not think this team would be 17-17, especially if you would have told me that Bron and Anthony Davis haven't missed time. They've missed very, very little time. So Bron and Anthony Davis have been available. The Lakers, I know they've had guys kind of come in and out of the lineup, but for the most part, Austin Reeves has been available. D'Lo's been available. If coming into the season you said those are your 4 best players, they've basically been available. If they lose tomorrow, they'll be 17-17 in 2023. That'd be very disappointing. Very disappointing. But the good news is January, they got a lot of home cooking. I think I told you 9 of their first 10 games. I mentioned this in the last postgame show that I did. 9 of their first 10 games in January are all at Crypto. Actually, no, more than that. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11 of 12 games are at Crypto. There's one Clipper home game in the mix there. They only have one road game against the Utah Jazz. They won't travel in the month of January. Their first road game outside of one road game in Utah is until January 27th. So they got a tremendous opportunity to, obviously do some work and do some damage in January, but close out the new year tomorrow with a W, and let's see what they can do. All right, let me read off a couple more of these. We're going to call today. Joseph, thanks again for coming out, saying hello, buddy. I appreciate it. Or not really saying hello, but waving. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Vegas is making the call, apparently, not Secaucus. Secaucus. Is that funny? It's like that's an actual place. All right. Happy pre-New Year 2024 to everyone and to you, Slee. Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, Dub T. We still got one more post game till the New Year's. Happy New Year, Laker fans. Alan, I just saw LeBron's post. We got robbed on that shot, no question. I think a lot of Laker fans are going to feel the same way on that one. Okay, Laker fans, that's all I got. Put up 40 tonight. Went 40 minutes tonight. Lakers lose to Minnesota Timberwolves 108-106. Controversial call. Everybody kind of wondering here, is that 3? Is it a 2? Looked like a 3. Lakers don't get the benefit of the doubt. They got to come back tomorrow now on a back-to-back against the Pelicans. We'll see. LeBron has missed some of these back-to-backs. Let's see what the Lakers end up doing, and we'll take it from there. So thank you for being a part of the show. Appreciate you guys. Please subscribe to the channel if you don't mind. Support Underdog Fantasy if you don't mind as well. They are a proud partner of the channel. Thank you, Lake fans. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. Thank you.